Hey friends, so today we're going to talk about something that I call virtual alchemy. It's how we can have this amazing physical world that's basically 3D printed out of these virtual atoms. And I'm going to tell you what I think an atom is, and it's not what you were taught in school. And I'm also going to walk you through the process of how that atom creates a cell and how that cell becomes a 3D printing factory that creates our physical world. And also, I'll use the liver as an example of how we can heal ourselves by bypassing the physical end result and going to the source code and making edits and helping there. This is super powerful stuff. Not stuff you're going to learn in school, but it's stuff that can help you in your daily life. I know it helps me. So I'm new to this platform, kind of, YouTube. I'm moving over here from TikTok because it's going bye-bye. So I'm very appreciative that you're here watching this today, and I would love if you could like and subscribe and share this to help more people. And I'm going to start doing a daily video here every day like I did on TikTok. So I've been doing TikTok for like 2 years. I got up to like 340,000 followers, 100 million views. Been having a lot of fun over there, but it's going bye-bye. So I'm gonna start focusing here. So I'm glad you're here and help me spread the word. So this is gonna be very complicated stuff that I'm gonna distill down as simple as possible. And I'm gonna use the whiteboard here to make it even easier. So let's talk first about the atom, because the atom is the building block of our physical world, okay? But the atom, to me, is a virtual unit of programmable energy, okay? And I'll explain why I think that. So the atom is tiny. And in the atom, there's only a few main parts. You have the nucleus, which, I'm not exaggerating, it's even smaller than that. 99.999999% of an atom is empty space. Empty space, okay? And even more than that, it's not empty space, it's a probability distribution field. We'll get into that in a second. But here in the nucleus, there are protons. And depending on how many protons are in the nucleus, that'll determine what kind of atom this is. So like a certain amount of protons will make it gold or iron or helium, whatever, okay? So in here, there's a few protons. And then there's electrons. Well, we were always kind of taught that the electrons orbit, right, in this kind of cool atomic pattern, right? That's what we were always taught. Well, now we know that's not true, okay? You know, quantum physics came in and basically blew the lid off of all this and said, no, the electron is not orbiting, or electrons, depending on the atom. It's actually existing in this probability distribution field. So there's this energy vortex that swirls around an atom, and the electrons are in all places and no places at the same time. It's called superposition until it's observed by a conscious observer like us. And then when we observe it, it has to snap. So here's the electrons now. So they snap into place as soon as it's observed. But before it's observed, they're everywhere and nowhere at once. They're just a probability distribution field, okay? So it's called an electron orbital field. And it's very interesting because that means that this atom isn't really an atom. It doesn't have any characteristics or behaviors. It doesn't have any interactions with the world until it's observed, until these actually have to pick a location once it's observed. Now that's super interesting because you can also, that's where I get into the virtual alchemy, these atoms can be repurposed, reprogrammed from one element to another element, which means that an atom is just a programmable unit of energy. Now, this is very important because it goes into my simulator theory of how this is basically a simulator for consciousness development, but we do have physical matter reality. So how does this virtual, programmable unit of energy turn into physical matter? Now, that's where it gets really fun. So let's erase this. Okay. And we're going to talk now about cells, because cells are amazing. Cells are basically like these factories that build our reality. Okay, so how does a cell work? So whenever you're first born, all of your atoms come together and they create molecules, like the molecules like, hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, those kinds of things. And then those molecules come together and they form cells. Well, at the beginning, when you're just in your embryonic stage and you're turning into a fetus and turning into a human, those cells are what are called stem cells for the most part. They're blank slates, okay? They haven't been programmed yet. They haven't been told what kind of cell they're going to be. So once everything's in place and you have all these stem cells, they get the instructions from the cosmic code of what their job is going to be. And then the cells turn into liver cells, lung cells, brain cells, eye cells, all these kinds of things, and then they go and form the human body. Now, how does that work? How does this little bitty virtual particle we call an atom, how does that turn into a cell, and how does that cell create this. How? It 3D prints it, and it is an incredible process. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how it works because it's just mind-blowing. So first, let's look at what a cell is. So you have a cell, and there's a lot of things in a cell. There's a lot of molecules that come together and make a cell, but we're going to focus on just a few. So you have the nucleus, you have the mitochondria, okay? So we'll draw a little lightning bolt because the mitochondria is like a power plant, okay? The mighty mitochondria. So important because that's a power plant. The whole cell, this factory, can't do anything without energy. It has to have the electricity to fuel all the processes and things it's going to do. That's the mitochondria. That's why mitochondrial health is so important. So this is the nucleus. And the nucleus is essentially like this protective place for DNA. Okay, so the nucleus protects the DNA. That's super important because the DNA is what does a couple things. It tells this cell what kind of cell it is and what it's going to do, but it also gives it a blueprint for your entire body so that all the cells and all the tissues and all the organ systems and everything are on the same page. So this DNA tells this cell what it does, and then it also tells it what the whole body is going to look like and the instructions and who you are and all that kind of stuff. So everyone's on the same page. Okay, so it has these pores. There's like these holes in the nucleus. And they're too small for the DNA to fit out, right? Because we don't want the DNA leaking out. It's protecting it, right? But we do need to get something called RNA and messenger RNA, mRNA, out. So what happens is the DNA kind of copies a little bit of itself, right? Like a little snippet of itself, and then it feeds it out of this little hole, okay? So this is a little copy, a little snippet of code that comes from the blueprint. Just one little snippet of code. And what it does is it puts it out here, and this gets so fun. This is the 3D printing part. There's something called a ribosome. And a ribosome comes like this, and it's got two parts, okay? So what it does is it feeds this little snippet of information in here, okay? So you have this little snippet, and it goes in there, and it just 3 things at a time. Click, 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 click. This starts reading that little snippet of code, okay? Well, then it brings in the filament, because you can't 3D print without the filament, the raw material that is going to actually print the physical matter. So the stuff we're made of, you know, is being printed right here. This is really cool. So it brings in amino acids. You probably heard the importance of amino acids, right? Eat beef, eat chicken, eat fish, you know, eggs, and take amino acids and whey protein and all this stuff. Well, do you know what amino acids are? They're the filament. They are the actual raw material that this factory is going to use to create us. And in this case, it's going to create your liver, because this is a liver cell. So all this cell does is make the liver, it makes the liver, and then it regenerates the liver and heals the liver, and then it also just creates all the things, the enzymes and everything that the liver needs. Okay, so this little snippet, it pulls this little snippet off, and it puts it in this little reader, and this is the ribosome. You know, so I'll say ribo. Okay, this is the ribosome, and this little snippet of code goes in there, and then it pulls in, I'm going to draw like an amino acid. It's like a chain. Okay, so you got this little chain, right? It's going to pull in this amino acid into here, and it's like the filament. Okay, and then it's going to print out a protein. Okay, protein. Do not judge me on my art skills. But anyways, so you can see how the code went in. It pulled in the amino acids, which is the filament, and then it printed out the protein. Well, then this protein is going to be funneled, ferried by something called a chaperone, I kid you not, out of the cell and then folded. It's actually folded. So it's going to just be like this, like a little sheet, essentially, right? It's a little sheet of protein. And then it's folded into a 3D shape, okay? And then it is taken to where it needs to go, all right? So how crazy is that? This 3D prints that protein, the protein's then folded and then gone and put into, like in this case, say your liver. So your liver, it's 150 to 500 days, is 100% regenerated, okay? So the liver you have right now, all the cells that make up your liver, in, let's say, a year to a year and a half, will be all brand new cells. Brand new liver. How crazy is that? So if you want to heal your liver, you don't heal the liver that you already have. It's kind of like, if I want to edit a movie, I don't go to the TV and edit the movie. It's already there. That's the finished product, right? You go to the editing software, and then you can make edits there. Well, in this case, the editing software is your cell, and it is what is 3D printing your liver. So I'm just using this as an example. This is happening in your body, every single organ system throughout your body, 24/7, nonstop. So your body is constantly like creating itself and then healing itself and then providing everything it needs. So the important thing to remember here is amino acids, which is the filament that it needs to print itself, are what are called essential amino acids. The important ones. Essential, I don't know who names this stuff, but they're called essential amino acids, but that means that we don't make them ourselves in our body. And I thought this was fascinating because, okay, if we need these things, that we need them to build our body and to maintain our body. Without amino acids, your body deteriorates and you start breaking down. That's why a lot of people that have especially people that are vegan and vegetarian have problems with frailty and stuff like that, building muscle mass and everything, unless they supplement with, vegan amino acids, because most amino acids are going to come from, fish, poultry, beef, eggs, that kind of stuff. But you can supplement with it. But so if they're so important and you have to have amino acids to do this whole process and to print your body, then why doesn't our body make them? Because our body makes non-essential amino acids. And I looked into this, and this points to a divine creator. It just does. That our body doesn't make its own essential amino acids because the process of doing so is so energy rich and would use so many resources and take so much energy from the rest of our body that it wasn't really worth it. So the designer offloaded that stuff into the environment and placed animals into our world that contain all the stuff. So there's tons of sources of amino acids all around our world, everywhere you look, and in the form of fish and eggs and beef and poultry and all these animals and stuff, and it's very easy. Even if you're not a hunter, you can go fish, or you can have a chicken and that lays eggs, right? So there's tons of ways to get these essential amino acids that we have to live a healthy life. But if we relied on our body to make them, it would be so energy intensive and it would be so resource intensive that it would actually take away from other processes, and it was detrimental. So the designer at some point offloaded that stuff to our environment. I think that's super fascinating. Anyways, so if you want to, say, heal your liver, you don't heal the physical liver. Like I said, that's the finished product. That's there. You got to go into the mitochondria. You got to go into the cell, okay? So the cell is the factory that will heal your liver. Our job as humans, as the conscious coach of our team, is just to give our body what it needs to do its job. This is happening all day, every day. Whether we want it to or not, this is happening. Our body wants to survive. It wants to thrive. It wants to live forever. Aging is a disease. It's just by cells breaking down. The cells break down because we don't give them what they need, essentially. So the main things that this guy needs to do its job is going to be the amino acids. And then there's all sorts of other things that I'll list here at the end, specifically focusing on liver health. Remember, every organ's going to be totally different, but I'll go through a list of the top things that you need to heal your liver. But what you really need to focus on is detoxing. So when people talk about mitochondrial health, and my friend Kathy Maxwell has really been enlightening me on this subject. I did an interview with her on the Alive and Kicking podcast. You should go check it out. That one we focused more on gut health, but we covered a lot of things. But mitochondrial health in general, because mitochondria is the power plant, remember? So without energy, like say you had a factory and your factory made cars, right? Well, without energy, like if the power was out, are you making any cars? No cars are being made. So it doesn't matter how good your equipment is. It doesn't matter how good your raw materials are. It doesn't matter how good your engineers are. Everyone's standing around doing nothing because you don't have any power. So mitochondrial health is so important. And you can focus on that by detoxing your body, getting rid of, toxins like EMF and stuff. That's why we're like these, blue light, reducing glasses and stuff like that, grounding, drinking structured and good clean water, eating clean foods, using detox pathways like sauna and cold baths and that kind of stuff. There's all sorts of things that you can do to increase your mitochondrial health, which increases the energy. And there's also a bunch of supplements and stuff you can take for that. But then like the liver itself, so say you want to heal your liver, well, again, we're going to start focusing on healing the cells of our liver first, because they, around the clock, 24/7, are pumping out new liver proteins, new liver material. They're going and they're plugging up holes. And when a liver cell dies through like apoptosis, another cell will split in half and fill that gap. And, they're constantly plugging holes and fixing and repairing and improving stuff as long as they have the energy and the raw materials that they need to do their job. How cool is that? So now let's go into a quick list of the top things that you can do to improve your liver health. So hydration is going to be key because your body is like 60% water, so you have to have hydration. It's best to put like a pinch of Himalayan pink salt or some sort of Redmond's, sea salt, something like that in there. You want to detoxify. You want to avoid processed foods, environmental toxins, like we talked about, blue lights and EMF and that kind of stuff. Pesticides, plastics, heavy metals, all that kind of stuff is very bad because it gets into your cells and it clogs them up and makes them not do their job as well. Especially like EMFs and stuff just throw off the frequency in your body and makes it to where things aren't communicating. So you also want to improve your gut health. Your liver and your gut are closely related and work together. So eat a lot of fermented foods like sauerkraut and kimchi, and probiotics and fiber-rich foods, things like that. And then sleep is super important because your body does a lot of its healing at the cellular level when you're asleep, because during the day it's busy doing other things, like it's putting out fires and stuff. And then whenever you sleep, it gets into healing mode. So try to sleep 7 to 9 hours every night. Stress is one of the biggest things that impairs your liver function. So stress just kind of disrupts all of the communication pathways and just messes up the whole vibe and energy. And all this stuff is operating at an energetic level. Like these cells, there's trillions of cells in your liver that create it, and they all communicate through energy pulses, through information sharing. So stress and things like that really just disrupt all of that. Exercise is really, really good because it improves the detox pathways and the circulation, and you just want things flowing around your body. The best foods for liver healing that I've found are, really high antioxidant-rich foods, because the antioxidants reduce the inflammation around your cells, and they help to detox and cleanse them out. So like blueberries and cranberries, like leafy greens like kale and spinach and arugula, things like that. Beets will actually boost the liver enzymes and the bile flow, which helps to detox your liver. The things like avocados are really They increase the glutathione, which is the most powerful antioxidant in your body. So that's very important. Garlic contains sulfur, which supports like the detox pathways. Asparagus is really rich in amino acids. So I love asparagus with steak, with beef, because beef has a ton of amino acids, and asparagus is a really good complement to it. Healthy fats like olive oil will actually reduce the fat buildup around your liver, which sounds counterintuitive because olive oil is high in fat, but it works to actually reduce the fatty liver. So that helps a lot. Same with nuts, walnuts and things like that are really good because they're high in omega-3s, which is one of the glutathione precursors. Bile-stimulating foods like lemons and limes. Bile is this like kind of sludgy substance that we need to help detox your liver and your gallbladder and things like that. And lemons and limes will stimulate that bile production and supports your digestion. Turmeric contains curcumin. Turmeric I love, like I get from a local farmer, organic turmeric that they just juice from the root, and it's just pure turmeric. I put a tiny bit of crushed black pepper in there, and I take it with some fat because it's fat soluble. So I'll take it with like a tiny bit of butter, or like right after I shoot the turmeric, I'll do like a couple walnuts or almonds or something like that. Ginger, I put ginger in pretty much everything. I love ginger. It's good for your bile production. And then like fiber-rich foods like apples and oats and things like that. I'm on kind of a carnivore diet, so I don't do a lot of that stuff, but it's shown to help. Drink a lot of filtered water. And I do structured water. We have this thing that structures our water. And the water that's inside your cell, it's really amazing. I'll do a whole nother video on the fourth state of water that is like the plasma that's in your cell. It's made of water, and it's structured. And it actually creates this flow of energy around your cell through that structure of the water. So drinking structured water really helps to create, to kind of match that frequency of the water that's in your cells. So look into getting like an energizer or a vortex, or even like a wand where you can structure your water. I'll do a whole nother video on structured water because it's really fascinating. And then there's some supplements. These are some of the most popular and best studied supplements for liver support. So milk thistle is very popular. It protects your liver cells and promotes regeneration. So it's specifically very powerful for your liver. And NAC, I take NAC every day. It boosts your glutathione levels, and glutathione is the master antioxidant in your liver. and it also helps with detoxification and reducing oxidative stress, which is very important. And then ALA is a powerful antioxidant. It supports liver metabolism and regeneration as well. Choline is in eggs, and I eat eggs a lot. And you can get a supplement of it too, supplement form, but it prevents the fat buildup around the liver as well, just like olive oil does. So choline is really important. And dandelion root supports your bile production and detox pathways as well. Same with artichoke extract. And zinc and selenium are essential for the enzyme function in your liver, so very important. And then I look at everything, like I said, as like this whole reality, the virtual reality part, and then the 3D printed, physical reality as consciousness expressing itself, consciousness getting to know itself. This is a simulator for consciousness development. So everything's connected through thought. That's how placebo effect works. That's how nocebo effect works. So your thoughts in your mind are very powerful. So you can do things like visualization exercises where you imagine your liver glowing with vibrant energy. You imagine its cells regenerating. You imagine everything functioning properly. You see it as like a factory and everyone's whistling while they work and doing their job and all that kind of stuff. You can visualize that. And that's very powerful. It sends a visualization. It sends that message to your liver that, that you're, I don't know, it helps to kind of paint this picture of like everything working in order and everything, given that little boost of confidence. And gratitude works like crazy. I've done many videos on gratitude, but thanking your liver for its work, acting like you're the coach, and these are all team, pieces of your team, members of your team, and you want everyone to be on the same page. You're kind of the cheerleader, you're rah, 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 and thank them. Say, thank you so much. I know maybe I haven't been so nice to you in the past, but I'm going to take care of you now. I'm going to do everything I can to give you all the raw materials and energy that you need to do your job. Thank you so much for working so hard to provide, with this health and this healthy body so I can live a long and happy life, Show gratitude and talk specifically, like, send intention to it. And then like affirmations, like repeat these, like my liver is strong, healthy, and constantly renewing itself. Every cell in my liver is bathed in healing energy. Like you can just come up with your own affirmations. And I know this sounds cheesy, but hey, if you have like a liver problem, you're going to do everything you can. And these are things that do work. And this is all to keep you out of the doctor and the hospital. So you can use like sound therapy, like I use, I don't know if you can see them, but I use like the glass singing bowls and things like that. And we do a lot of meditation here. Meditation is very powerful. It just helps to calm the seas, the rough seas in your body. It helps to get everything, quiet the noise out, so that all of the cells can communicate clearly with each other. There's not so much static and so it really does help a lot, especially just to kind of reset your central nervous system and get everything just back to, normal. So there's other things you can do, like we do a lot of castor oil packs, put the castor pack on your liver specifically. That actually helps like crazy. It's amazing. Look into castor oil. It's wild, incredible stuff. Doing things like, saunas and cold showers, cold baths, cold plunges, stuff like that really works. And then intermittent fasting helps a lot for me. There's different schools of thought on should you intermittent fast. I think that what it does more specifically than weight loss or anything like that is it just gives your digestive system a chance to chill, to just, if it's always working, it never has a chance to like repair and detox. So I think fasting helps because it just gives your whole digestive system, including your liver and everything associated, time to breathe, time to reset, time to regroup and that kind of stuff, because it's not always working, right? If you're just constantly putting stuff in your body, it's always working. So just like it's good for us to sleep 7 to 9 hours every night, I think it's good to have like 10 or 12 hours window every single day where you don't eat anything. You just give your liver a chance to breathe. I think that's really important. So anyways, that's my kind of my version of how all this stuff works. I look at things a little bit differently. I like to go to the source. I like to zoom out as big as possible. So whenever I was healing my body, I had severe pancreatitis. I had my liver and my kidneys were failing. I had severe heart problems. I had all sorts of problems. And none of the medicines and things the doctors were doing were helping. So I had to go alternative routes. And for me, I zoom all the way out. And I'm just like, okay. Like people were telling me, take this supplement. And I'm like, what does it do? How does it work? And they're like, I don't know, just do it. So I was like, I got to know how this stuff works. So by me zooming out, I was like, okay, what are we made of? Like, how did we get here? All right. And then I'm like, oh, atoms. Okay, what's an atom? Looked into an atom. Okay, how does an atom form a molecule? Okay, that's cool. How does a molecule form a cell? Oh, that's interesting. How does a cell make us? And then I discovered, the amazing ribosome And basically the fact that it's a 3D printer where it takes the DNA, a little piece snippet of code, the RNA, goes out of this little hole, goes into the ribosome, feeds it in there like a little printer, like that, takes these amino acids as a filament, and then prints a protein. And then that protein is folded into a particular shape, and then something called a chaperone comes and takes it, puts like a lipid, membrane around it, shuttles it to where it goes into the liver, deposits it, and says, boom, there you go. Plug the hole. That's how your liver's constantly regenerating. It's like, oh my God, that's incredible. So then I realized, well, then my job in all this is just to give my liver the things it needs, give my liver cells what they need, the raw materials in the form of like the amino acids and all of the supplements and the water and all that kind of stuff, and then to like get out of the way, which is like the detox thing, which is like removing the heavy metals, removing the toxins, removing the poisons and the chemicals and all the stuff that we're putting in our body, and then to like do things like meditation, visualization, rest, that kind of stuff, so that I'm basically getting out of the way and just allowing my body to do what it does, which is work around the clock and heal. The body wants to live forever. Our job is to give it what it needs to do that and to get out of the way. Hopefully this made sense to you. I would love to hear your feedback and opinions. Please drop me a comment below. Let me know if any of this helps you in any way. And please like and subscribe and share, because I am kind of new to this channel and I would like to see it grow. Anyways, thank you very much for your time. Have a beautiful day. Peace.